and welcome to part 3 of this DIY series. So I've got my clay slabs already rolled out, and here I've got a ball of aluminium foil and a toothbrush. So the focus of this video is going to be adding texture elements to your polymer clay. So with my ball of foil, all I'm going to do is roll that nice and gently over the top of my polymer clay. So the idea with both of these textures is to give a little bit of a concrete look. So as you can see here, I'm starting to texture that up quite nicely. Obviously, you can press as hard or as soft as you want, put as many little dints in there as you like to make it look like concrete. Another thing that you can use is a toothbrush. So just again, gently stippling that on so that you're getting the bristle imprint, and that's going to give another kind of concrete look. So that's quite popular at the moment. It's a bit hard to see on the black, but you can see all the little dimples and the textures in there as well. So sometimes if you've got a flat, just plain coloured clay, adding some texture is a really great way to jazz it up a little bit and make your piece come to life rather than just having a flat colour. So it's good to have that as a trick to do something a little bit different. Another thing that you could use to achieve this look is if you have a really coarse piece of sandpaper, make sure that your sandpaper is coated, because if it's not a coated piece of sandpaper, you'll lay it down and the grit will come off. But laying the sandpaper down and then rolling your acrylic roller over the top will achieve a very similar look to what we've got here with our aluminium foil ball. So what you can do with this, you can make just studs from this. You might like to make the bottom of your dangles or the top of your dangles, totally up to you. So here I've gone for some studs. Remember that tiny little circle cutter from the deluxe kit, that can only be used for studs. We can't do dangle toppers with that. It's too small and you won't be able to fit your jump ring and your earring backs on with it. So here I'm just picking it up to add a bit more texture on. I've got a toothbrush which has some ridges in it, so it's not working quite as well as a toothbrush that may be completely flat across the top, but I've still got a pretty good effect here. And super simple, super easy, and with things that most of us have lying around the house. Especially when you're starting with polymer clay, that's such a wonderful thing, just to be able to have things that you can use that are lying around and you don't have to go and buy specialist equipment. So these leftover bits, I think I might make a matching pair of dangles. So matching texture, I'll do black for the toppers and the cinnamon colour for the bottom of the dangles. And making sure that I'm cleaning everything up as I go. Remember, on your piece of baking paper, or if you have a tile, after you've cut your clay pieces out, you will have that little bit of clay residue left behind. You can use either a baby wipe or some paper towel or the clay itself to pick up those little bits and pieces. Here I'm going to work with two things that I prepared earlier. The pattern slab and two circles that I've cut the tops off just again with a plastic knife. You might use a bread and butter knife, just make sure afterwards you wash it really well. So with that plastic knife, all I'm doing is putting straight line indents in kind of, I guess, like a fan shape around the top of those circles there. So they're going to become hoops later on, but you might like to make them into dangles as well. So here's a pattern that I've created a little bit earlier, and just to add some texture to it to kind of make it pop a little bit, again I'm using that knife, but this time I'm dragging it to make a straight line texture in it. I've got the toothpick that comes as part of the kit, and I'm using that as a dotting tool just in that cinnamon colour there, again to add a bit of texture, a bit of dimension to my clay slab. So what's really important when you're working with a patterned slab, especially one with a larger pattern like this, is that you choose a cutter that is going to be large enough to capture a bit of all of the pattern. So here you can see that that's really made that come to life. So like I said, a cutter that's going to get a little bit of each of the pattern, and with your pattern, with your two pieces that you're cutting out, remember we've got matching sets, we want to get matching pieces coming out as well as much as we can. So again, trying to match it up there and get a little bit of the pattern on each piece. So here I've got roughly the same amount of the white, the same amount of the cinnamon, and the same amount of the black. So I've got quite a bit of that pattern slab left over, and I'm just working out here if I can get two matching studs, or they could have been dangle toppers as well. So here you can see that I've got the same amount of pattern on both of those. That would have looked really good as a pair of dangles, but I've used that smaller cutter, so they'll be now made into a pair of studs. So that's everything on basic texturing with your polymer clay. In the next video, what we're going to cover is baking your earrings and sanding them to make them into a full set of earrings. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.